Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we are kicking off with a brand new series on lead generation approach. And in this part 1, we are diving deep into one of the most powerful yet misunderstood channels, that is cold emailing. So by the end of this video, you will know one, how to structure your cold email sequences, how to write effective follow-ups that can actually get you replies, and what are tools that you can use to run and track campaigns. And yes, we'll even show you one of our live campaigns to show you how it is done in real time and how can you monitor your results as well. Now, before we jump into the entire sequences and draft creation, let's quickly set a foundation. Now, one thing to understand over here is that a cold email is not just another sales pitch in someone's inbox. It's something that needs to be personalized, value driven, and a conversation starter. So, the goal of a cold email is not to sell immediately, but to start a dialogue. Now, there are three key elements that define a good cold email. The first being an introduction, which needs to be crisp and should give the reader an idea as to what you are talking about. Second is a value proposition, wherein in one or two lines you explain what the problem is that you are solving and why it matters. This will be the major chunk of your body. Then comes the call to action, wherein you need to define what is it that you want as an outcome of that email, whether you want the person to answer a particular set of questions or to connect for a demo or to connect over a virtual meet. These are a few call to actions that are there. Now let's quickly move into understanding how to create these drafts. So I'm taking an example of a recruitment agency that is reaching out to different prospects across various categories to pitch or share about their recruitment services. So if you can see over here, and we have created a complete email sequence wherein we have two versions of the intro email and a couple of follow-ups that we have created. Now I'll explain the complete idea over here of having multiple variations and how to draft these emails. So when I talk about the intro email, the most important thing is my subject line, which should clearly communicate what am I talking about or what is this particular email about. So as you can see over here, I have just simply written partner for end-to-end recruitment solutions. So this gives a reader a complete idea that what this email is about. Next, I have kept my introduction as something that gives an idea that who am I and what am I reaching out for. So it explains the purpose of this particular email. Next, if you see, I have highlighted an overview of the work that this particular agency has done, giving a more detailed idea to the reader that okay, this is what this company has achieved. So this is wherein the value proposition and the validation comes in. One of the things that a lot of companies miss out, or a lot of salespeople even miss out while doing the reach outs, is adding their clients. How and why does our clients or mentioning clients add value to an email is it gives an idea or a reference point for the prospects to understand what all sort of sectors, industries, companies have we worked with. And this in turn gives an idea that okay, whether this would be more relevant or this is something worth exploring or not. Lastly, since this is a very crisp and short email that gives a brief idea about the company, what you can even do to give a more detailed idea for a person to review is adding your introductory deck or your product deck, which the person can go through if they are interested in it. Finally, when I talk about the next version, if you see this, the first version is something that is very crisp. The second version is slightly longer. The reason why is because we wanted to change a way of reading it, wherein we are telling that what is it that we are exactly offering. That's a one-stop shop for say tech and non-tech hiring. Instead of complete end-to-end recruitment solutions, we have changed the positioning a bit over here. At the same time, since we have mentioned tech and non-tech hiring, we have even mentioned what all sort of roles does this particular recruitment agency help with. Say if I'm reaching out to a CHR or a head of talent acquisition over here, and my job as a head of talent acquisition is to hire a couple of people in the marketing team, in the tech team, I have an idea that okay, this recruitment agency has these capabilities and then I can rely on them or I can at least explore their services. So this is how we have drafted our second version of the intro email. Now when I talk about the follow-up emails, many a times if you see there are multiple cold email sequences or you might be hitting cold emails day in day out wherein the follow-ups is either in a new thread or there is a very detailed follow-up with a case study and all. But what works out best is simply asking a question that whether that person is interested in exploring the services or not, or whether they had a chance to read the email and would they want to explore or not. So having a very crisp follow-up one is what is needed and necessary over here. And this is something that you send immediately the next day after sharing your intro email. The reason for this being is the person might have a better recall and a context to what the email was about. The follow-up emails further after the first follow-up can be sent at a gap of 2 days, 1 day. That is upon how aggressive do you want to go with your campaigns. When I talk about the next follow-up, ideally in your second follow-ups, you can add something that gives a quick insight, something that might generate interest. Like over here, what I've done is that we have mentioned that we offer or we can assist with quick turnaround time and deliver candidates in 48 hours. Now for a talent acquisition team, getting quick hires or getting candidates delivered quickly is their goal. It is what they are thinking about. So this hits right on that pain point and ensures that we are triggering an interest over here. Further follow-ups can include something where you can highlight the benefits that shares more on the value proposition and the problem that a company is solving. The further follow-ups can also include a case study if you want to input something that again further validates it, can generate interest. And what I would recommend over here is when you are sending a case study based email, it is better that you personalize or you have it very industry focused. Now, say if I'm reaching out to a SaaS company and I'm sharing an example of a BFSI company, then there is very less relevance over there. But for a SaaS company, say if I'm sharing about a case study of our work with a SaaS company or recruiting in this particular industry, then it seems more interesting because it is much more relevant in that case. Finally, after 4 follow-ups, you can either start with a new set of email sequencing or you can have a closure email that you can create. So this is how you can create your entire sequence based on who is your target audience, based on what you are selling. Now, this is an example wherein we are pitching about services. When we talk about product-based drafts, there are quite a lot of different things that happen in it because over there you can add more about the features of the products. Highlight that this particular feature has helped this particular company in this way in streamlining these activities or so. So this is how you can focus on creating your drafts. And my recommendation over here would be that every 2 weeks, every 1 week, try to revise your drafts. So for example, say if I'm using a particular email draft and sending it to 1,000 people, I can measure what is the response rate that I'm getting. If I'm getting a lower response rate or if I'm getting 0 responses, that means that my draft needs to be revised as my positioning might not be right. So the game of having effective cold email campaigns is to revise your drafts timely and ensure that you are trying new things out. Say attach a case study, add a video, add an image that highlights some things or part of the process. So that is what might work. Now coming on to the next part is what all tools that you can use. So there are multiple tools out there in the market like Apollo, Lucia, Snow that you can use for running your email campaigns. Today I'll show you one of our most used tool, that is Apollo. This is something that we recommend for beginners because the setup over here is quite seamless. At the same time, Apollo doesn't just offer you an email campaigning platform, but also a platform wherein you can find prospects. So it becomes an all-in-one platform for you to use. And when I talk about running the campaigns, this is one of our live campaigns, as you can see over here, wherein we have sent across or we have loaded across 484 leads. Out of which, as you can see, I have achieved a reply rate of 0.8% and 0.2% of that is interested. Now, the sequence is set simply by creating drafts over here and seeing how are those being previewed. So I have created my intro email, I have created my follow-up, I have created my further follow-up sequences and I have set it with say a certain amount of delay. Once this is done, you can start your email campaigns, and at the same time what I would recommend is always monitor by going into the report section where you will be able to see the entire funnel, that how many people have you reached out to? Out of that, how many people have, say, opened, replied, and who have shown interest? Versus, you can also see how many total emails were sent. Say, for example, for these 481 people, I have sent my first follow up also. That's 481 plus 481. So that way you will be able to track that how many total number of emails have gone over here. That is the sequence funnel by email, giving you a complete overview that out of these many emails, I have finally gotten one response. That is one interested. And this further can help you in terms of improving the way you are running your campaigns, the amount of delays that you are keeping, and the sort of content that you are driving in your email campaigns. So this is how you can use tools like Apollo to run the campaigns, to see the results over time and modify your campaigns accordingly as well. So my recommendation over here would be that for any email that you want to test out, try to send it to at least 1,000 people to get a feedback that whether this is something that is working or not working. And please ensure that you are focusing more on the positioning part of your emails and trying different things out, because that is what will help eventually. Now, if you found this video helpful, please make sure that you like this video. We'll have more such lead generation approaches shared in the upcoming videos. And thank you so much for watching this video.